Is trucking a curse or a blessing? Good morning. Got the coffee. Coffee is flowing this morning. Here at the dock. It's a beautiful morning here in Oklahoma. And although there are some clouds on the horizon, that's life, right? You know, beautiful sunrise. Next thing you know, boom, it'll storm, right? Today's topic is the curse. Is trucking a curse or blessing to you? And the answer is yes. Well, gee, Steve, that's not a yes or no question. Dummy. Now, here's the deal, man. I watched a live feed last night of a person who's gotten off the road and gave up being an owner-operator, which is fine. I mean, you know, I think everybody has to make that decision at one point or another. And the thing that kind of surprised me was they went on about how the last 6 years they've hated being OTR. They hated all these different aspects of being away from the house and being away from, you know, the family, which I get that. And that person felt that being OTR held them back from enjoying the finer things in life. And it all goes to perception, you know. If you feel that, you know, and I'm glad this person's happy now, because all I want is for everybody to be happy. Because when people are happy, guess what? They don't mess with you. They don't, you know, unless they're happy messing with you, I guess. But, you know. But this person's a good dude, you know, and I wish him well. But you could tell during the live feed how much he hated trucking. And I've got some news for you drivers that might be watching this that are miserable right now. If you hate this lifestyle, if you hate this job, it's going to be a curse. And if you sit there and call this a prison, guess what? It's going to be a prison. You know, I used to follow this blog. Remember blogs? You know, with the B? Remember those? This dude was a driver, company driver for Crete. And I used to love reading his blogs because before e-logs came out, Crete expected you to run it like you know, legal, like you did it. They audited your logs to your Qualcomm, and you know, and if you couldn't be more than 15 minutes off. So you basically logged it like you did it, right? And this guy showed how to utilize all of his time, and he became very efficient at it. So I imagine when they went to e-logs, it was a pretty easy transition, you know. And what was interesting about his blog, got bugs in here, is that if he did a 34, he got out of the truck. He explored things. He wasn't afraid to get a hotel room. He wasn't afraid to go in somewhere and see what the local scene was like as far as, music, food. He had a budget for taxis, because it's before Uber, predates Uber, right? And, and he absolutely loved the job because of all the things that he could see. He could actually enjoy being up and down the roads in the country and everything. And later on, that person became a lease operator, and he did very well, or was doing very well last I, checked. And I think that the key to success, I think, is somewhat enjoying what you do, but also what your goals are for that business. In other words, I have another friend that became an owner-operator, and he had to be home every week. Has to be home every weekend. He's got special needs in his family that require him to be home every weekend. But he loved truck driving. So he said to himself, how can I become a business owner and still be able to get home every weekend and make money? So he went to a company where he could self-dispatch. He did his thing. They leased him a truck. And then he saw, well, the only problem I have now is my costs are too high. So what did he do? He reduced his costs. And then he moved to another company that gave him more freedom to set up his own thing. Now he's home almost every night, driving the same truck, but you lowered the costs, and he's doing very well. He lowered his costs, and now his goals of being home more, he achieved. And so what he did is he saw trucking as a blessing, and how can I use this business model to create the needs that I need, the wants that I want. And it's amazing to see the difference in mindsets of people. And the reality is you have successful people at all companies, all of them. Why are they successful? Well, if you work for a company that home time is not guaranteed or it's not a whole lot, and you're the kind of person that either lives in the truck or doesn't need to be home, then you could succeed at that company. If your expenses are way high, but you have no bills at home, you could be successful. If you have a lot of expenses, both home and truck, business-wise, but you're hauling a specialized product that makes you a ton of money, there you go. Trucking is one of the few industries that the harder you work, the more money you can make. The smarter you work, the more money you can make. If you own a brick and mortar store, you're dependent on people coming into the store. You're dependent on people that work for you. You're dependent on your ability to be able to be there. But you can work 12 hours a day or 16 hours a day at that store and maybe get like 5 people in the door. Or you can work 3 hours and have 100 people in the door. You have no control over that. Here you've got a little bit of control. And if you find yourself struggling between home time and money, that is a constant struggle. That is a constant balancing act, But the bottom line is, it's your perception. If you feel that something's holding you back, why is it holding you back? Why is this truck a prison to you? What aspects do you feel that it's a prison? Why is this truck a blessing to you? What aspects of the truck do you sit there and look at your truck and say, that is 18 wheels of rolling opportunity for me to make money? Or do you look at it and say, that is an 18 wheels of hell? And either way, you're right. And I think a part of that is you got to know deep within yourself what you want. You have to be honest with yourself. And if you're not honest with yourself, it's hard to accomplish anything. My goal was to take the skills that I learned as a company driver and see if I can't make a little bit more money doing it on my own. But also to create more freedom than being a company driver. Now, is it a pain in the butt to worry about fuel and expenses and truck repairs and tolls and trying to find my own loads and all that stuff? Yeah, but that's what creates the blessing. See what I mean? If it creates the blessing of giving me that freedom, then it's worth that price. I mean, take a musician, for example, a touring musician. You make an album, in the old days, you make an album, people bought it, and then you toured. You toured to promote the album. And you got to go through sound checks and the driving, the traveling, the early mornings, the different hotels, a different city every night. You got to really love traveling to be a touring musician. But what is the reward? The reward is the performance at the end of the night, right? Didn't Bob Seger do a song about that? About the struggles? But then it's worth it in the end, That's what I get for leaving my windows open, I guess. And there were some musicians that I knew that absolutely loved the road. They didn't mind the sound checks. They didn't mind the hotels. They didn't mind being in a different city every night. They were nomads. And you could have 100 people show up at the show and they didn't care. They were like, oh man, there's 100 people in here. And then you got touring musicians that just despised all of it except for the performance. But you have to realize that you have to do all the other stuff before you get to the performance. So there's a really good musician that I looked up to. He's passed away now, but watching the documentary on this person, it made me think, wow, he really hated the road. And that sucks because in my realm of music, you got to tour. You have to. That's how these bands get known and make money. Hell, even Metallica, they still tour 200 days a year. You know what I mean? Or even more than that, probably. But I'm getting off track here. But the point is that I look at what trucking has done for me. And then I try to fix the things that it's done to me, if I feel that they're broken. Has it been a struggle? Yeah. Is my life perfect? No. Have I missed out on a few things with the kids? Definitely. But at the same time, I still have a good relationship with my family, my kids. And they're learning that, by watching their mom and dad, that they're learning that, running a business isn't easy. Nothing's handed to you. It's a valuable life lesson, you know. I know people that have gotten off the road for their kids. You know, the kid, you know, he comes home, the kid's like, you know, so-and-so, I want you, Daddy, I want you to get off the road. Mommy, I want you to get off the road. And so they do. And I feel that that teaches a lesson of, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, you don't, you know, if you don't like something, just leave, right? I knew I wanted to be a truck driver, but I knew that I didn't want to suffer the same pitfalls that my dad did, the same issues that I've seen all across the board, because there's a lot of bad stories out here, a lot. But there's also a lot of good stories. So I firmly believe that whatever you dwell on, that's what's going to come true. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, this has been a long one. Thanks for watching, guys, and keep the pedal to the metal. See you.